The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight.
It does not end here. It shall not end now. It is up to us.
Glenn Beck stuns the nation by attracting hundreds of thousands of people to Washington on Saturday, despite the media and some civil rights activists lining up against him.
They want to disgrace this day. This is our day, and we ain't giving it away.
We will talk with Glenn Beck and with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Let's stand together. Let's stand with honor. Let's restore America.
The political implications of the Beck rally are huge. Charles Krauthammer, Juan Williams, and Mary Catherine Ham will all analyze.
I think Glenn Beck has got a few things the matter with him up in the head.
And Bernie Goldberg will weigh in on how the media distorted and shamed itself in the coverage of the Washington rally. Caution, you are about to enter the no-spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Big victory for Glenn Beck, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Hundreds of thousands of people attended the Restoring Honor rally in Washington on Saturday, where Glenn Beck, Sarah Palin, and others appealed for a return to Judeo-Christian values.
We must be better than what we've allowed ourselves to become. We must get the poison of hatred out of us. No matter what anyone may say or do, no matter what anyone smears or lies or throws our way or to any American's way, we must look to God and look to love.
We will always come through. We will never give up, and we shall endure, because we live by that moral strength that we call grace. Because though we've often skirted a precipice, a providential hand has always guided us to a better future.
Now, as Beck advertised, the rally was mostly non-political and entirely peaceful, a vast crowd respectful, and honored itself by demonstrating love of country. Again, this was a huge victory for Glenn Beck and Americans who believe that his message of honor and dignity is worthwhile. But the forces opposed to Beck viciously attacked him. New York Times columnists Bob Herbert and Charles Blow implied Beck is a racist, shaming themselves in the process. It's fine to disagree with Glenn Beck, but to attack him personally is disgraceful. And anyone who does that should be branded a hater. Are you hearing me, Howard Dean?
I think Glenn Beck has got a few things the matter with him up here and up in the head there. So I just don't know what to make of it. What I see is these folks are kind of, and I don't mean this in a mean kind of way, but they're a little like lost souls in the sense that they really do, they're at sea. The country's changed a lot. They're in the middle of a horrible economic downturn, which has probably affected a lot of them personally. So they follow this guy who is like Father Coughlin from the 1930s.
Hold on a second.
Racist, he's a hate monger.
That kind of stuff is simply unacceptable, and Dean should be ashamed of himself. Of course, he isn't. All fair-minded Americans should respect people with whom they disagree if the person is honest and sincere in the debate, and Glenn Beck is certainly that. But we live in a time where boundaries have been obliterated because the liberal media has lost control of the journalistic process, and they are now lashing out against those who have been overwhelming them, like talk radio, like the Fox News channel. Could one liberal in this country have generated hundreds of thousands of people to Washington? The answer is no. The truth is that Glenn Beck urged Americans to come to that rally that encouraged spirituality and honesty, and was attacked for doing it. And that's a memo. Now for top story tonight, here he is, the Beckmeister. All right, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Know, in hindsight, I want to know what you thought was the best moment in the rally and the worst moment, not just in the rally, but of the whole experience. Let's start with the best.
Best moment in the rally may have been private moments. A moment of praying with Alveda King. A moment with a father and son at the line at the front before the rally started and talking to them. And I have a picture of it. It's unbelievable. of this father and son, and the son is just beaming, and the father's head is up next to his, and he's crying.
How old is the son?
Son's probably about 8 or 10.
And that's GlennBeck.com. These pictures around?
Yeah.
Okay. So the personal response that you got from the folks there was the highlight. What was the low light?
The hate from the other side.
Okay, what do you think is generating that hate? Fear?
Ignorance and fear, probably. Ignorance on some, because they read the New York Times.
But those aren't the people generating the attacks. The attacks are being generated by the people who well know what you do and who you are.
No, the attacks, and I warn you, America, the attacks are going to get worse.
Yeah, they will.
And not just on me, but the Black Robe Regiment was introduced on stage, which was 240 pastors, priests, rabbis, and imams on stage, all locked arms, saying the principles of America need to be taught and from the pulpit.
All right, but let's get into that a little bit.
The attacks are going to go up.
Okay, but we'll defend you, Beck. I have your back, and I'm not saying that facetiously. I mean, I'm basically, you put yourself out there, and I agree with some stuff you say, I disagree with others, but I'm going to defend you. And the Howard Deans of the world are going to take it here when they do that kind of garbage. So you don't have to worry about that. You just do what you do. Now, let's talk about the theocratic theme of the event. So do you think America should be run with a Judeo-Christian model of behavior? Is that what you want in the halls of power?
That's what we
had it at one time.
We did have it. Yes. Does that mean that I want, for instance, I've gotten in a lot of trouble for saying, if my church is teaching social justice the way Jeremiah Wright teaches social justice, leave your church. Let me say the same thing. If my church started to preach who to vote for, the Republicans are better than the Democrats or vice versa, I would also leave my church on that. Teach people correct principles, that all rights come from God.
Yeah, but then you're getting into a theocratic state because there are 17-18% of the population don't believe in God.
That's
of
okay.
American population.
That's okay. But you can live by the golden rule. You can live by the Ten Commandments.
They don't want to live by the golden rule. They want to get stoned every day.
Read the second inaugural address. This is incompatible with anything else but Judeo-Christian values,
so you say
self-governed people.
That atheists and people who don't believe in the Judeo-Christian
No, look, I have a good
foundation.
friend who's atheist. Sean, I was thinking Sean Penn. Boy, that's Penn Jillette. We don't hang out with each other, but we respect each other. He is an atheist. He understands self-regulation. Atheists can self-regulate.
All right, so you want the country and the politicians who represent the country to espouse the Ten Commandments?
Self-regulation.
But what does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that you're not doing things because of penalty from a government. You're doing things because the set of values that you have, the Judeo-Christian values, move you and motivate you to do better.
Okay, so does it come down to treating your brother as you would treat yourself,
yes.
your brother and sister?
Yes.
Okay, so it comes down to that.
Yes.
But there isn't a theological component to it. There isn't a right God or a wrong God.
That's why I had all of pastors, priests, rabbis,
you
and
had everybody up there. You had Albert Pujols, the St. Louis Cardinal guy up there.
We had them together.
I was saying, Albert, hit him with the bat. Will you shut him up? All right, now, let's get into the race thing real quick. You said something on Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace about you calling Obama a racist. It was interesting. Roll the tape.
First of all, it shouldn't have been said. It was poorly said. It was. I have a big fat mouth sometimes, and I say things, and that's just not the way people should behave. And it was not accurate.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's what they're calling you, a racist. They're calling you this, that, and the other thing.
I want you to understand that the rest of that sentence is. It's a shallow understanding of President Obama. President Obama's actions, and that's what I was judging him on, his actions are really based in liberation theology.
Yeah, he's a social justice guy. I thought that was a mistake, and I told you that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the final thing I want to say is the reason that you got so many people out there was because of the Bold Fresh tour. Because half the tour was you telling people to get out.
This is the thing. Bill O'Reilly said to me last time I was on last week, he said, you might have 20,000 people. I said, 20,000 people? Are you kidding me? And he said, you might have it. I said to him, We'll have more than 20,000 people there.
But you
this is for your
airbrushed
wallet.
that.
No, this is for your wallet.
My wallet.
This
Yeah,
is for
my
your
wallet's that
wallet.
big. Right?
And here's what he said.
Show that. Look.
Here's what he said.
You airbrushed that.
Here's what he said. Here's what he said. You should, if you get over 100,000 people,
I'm hitting them with
you
this.
should do the O'Reilly factor.
You can do it anytime you want. You know, I'll take your dopey time slot at 5.
When we come back, Al Sharpton.
That's right. Sharpton is going to reply to you, and that should be interesting. But once again, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
I don't think there's anybody in the country that could have mobilized that many people at this point in time. I don't think there's anybody else.
Thank
you know,
you.
beside Pamela Anderson. She might have been able to do it, but
I don't.
You know, no, you don't think so?
No.
Okay, well, I'll cross her off my list. Glenn Beck, everybody, check him out at 5. Next on the rundown, as we said, Al Sharpton, a critic of the rally. He'll be here. And later, Bernie Goldberg on how the media covered the big show in Washington, and some of it isn't pretty. Upcoming.
It's your family, your home, your business. Only trust what matters most to one of the most trusted names in security. ADT, always there.
Continue now with our lead story, Glenn Beck's big rally in Washington on Saturday. On the same day, Reverend Al Sharpton held a commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech 47 years ago at a school in the District of Columbia. And Reverend Sharpton did not like the competition from Beck.
They may have the mall, but we have the message. They may have the platform, but we have the dream. They want to disgrace this day, and we're not giving them this day. This is our day, and we ain't giving it away.
But Dr. Martin Luther King's niece, Alveda King, actually spoke at Beck's rally.
It's absolutely wonderful for Glenn to use his popularity and influence to bring us together, to focus not on an election or a political cause, but to focus on honor and on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. God bless you, Glenn.
All right, with us now to reply is the Reverend Al Sharpton. So a few thousand attended your rally at Dunbar School, right?
Oh, yeah, we had, I think, as well a turnout as we had in 10 years.
All right, so a few thousand people, and then hundreds of thousands show up to Beck's rally. What does that say?
Well, Beck's been working on his rally a year. We had decided at our convention in April, where you spoke along with others, and we worked the last couple of months. We usually do 3,000 or 4,000. We did about 10 times that. But again, we were not. If we were trying to do a big rally, I spoke and was involved in the Million Man March. We know how to do a big rally. We were doing a commemoration.
All right, so you weren't trying for the big show. Okay.
We went in a school. The biggest part of our march was when we stretched from Pennsylvania Avenue back to the school with the march. And the reason we know the numbers we had is because we know the numbers of buses we brought in, and we did very well. But the point is, if I was there by myself, I believe every year we should commemorate that march.
What do you think about Alveda King's speech? I mean, because you said, look, they're trying to disgrace this day. And, you know, there's Dr. King's niece, saying, hey, this is a good thing.
What I said was, before we left, if you look at the whole...
We just heard the tape, right?
You went into the speech. What I said, before we leave, if we go down there and anybody says anything, you smile at them.
Look,
we do not
I don't want to do a body
disgrace our
Frank. The
day.
people just heard you say they're trying to hijack our day.
That's right. No. I said they tried to disgrace our day. Do not respond. This is our day. They won't take it away.
They're trying to disgrace our day. What was disgraceful about
the
Beck's
blacks,
thing?
the whites, the Latinos, the Asians that were marching with us? I did not want them to get into any kind of back and forth.
But you said they are trying to disgrace our day. What does that mean?
They that I said that would try to provoke a confrontation. Look at the
But
speech.
nobody did. You had 400,000 people out there. Nobody provoked anything.
I'm very glad they did. And no one from outside provoked anything.
Why would you say that?
Because I was afraid that if I didn't say that, with a lot of our students there, and someone said something that was in any way against what we were marching for, that they would respond.
So you wanted to preempt any hostility.
Correct.
That's what you said.
That's exactly.
I'm supposed to buy that? You want me
I
to buy
don't care
that?
whether you buy it or not. That's what I said. I know what I said. And if you look at the whole speech, that's clearly what I said.
It's a little hard for me to buy that, but look, I'm not going to say
Mr. O'Reilly, it was live on television. People watched it, and people know that is exactly what I said.
Was there anything wrong with what Beck did?
Not what he did. What he said is not what he said he was going to do is not what he did.
I know, but what